think I can bring our conversation back to, it's something that I didn't understand until probably a few months ago. I always felt like people talk about species extinction, the pandas reducing. Now Jayant mentioned about how polar bears are going to go extinct, and I think a lot of people are ignorant of how that will actually end up affecting the human population as well. I remember reading an article about Yellowstone National Park where the wolves were hunted to extinction, and people thought that was fine because it was safe for them to go out. But what ended up happening was the caribou became overpopulated, there was overgrazing, and there was a collapse in the ecosystem where humans had to reintroduce the wolf population back. So how could something like, if you could please just share with us, any of you, how could the polar bear population being affected, how could that have an impact on our lives as well?
Well, we can talk about it in elephants.
or any species. Because people feel like since we don't interact with those animals on a daily basis, that it won't have an effect on us. But how will it have an effect on our ecosystems?
First, the animals and plants tell us, that's nature, they tell us what's going on. For instance, in Sri Lanka, you look at an endemic fish, Barbus titea, called Letitia, red small fish like that, Barbus nigrofasciatus, found in our rainforest streams, was found around Colombo, was found in all these areas. But as soon as the pollution of the streams begin, they disappear. They can't take it. Now, it means the same thing to somebody living in the village, because as a child, I used to go around the streams catching fish, right? We used to say, when this is missing, it means that things are going wrong. Your water is getting poisoned. We must learn the simple signs that nature is showing us of the danger, and we must teach each other, because this is not complicated, it's not rocket science. You know, we can take some kids to the stream and say, look at these things. If they are missing, you know something is going wrong. Oh, in Australia, when I was working in Australia, dryland salinity was a major problem, and all Victorian government, because all of a sudden the salt would rise and a paddock, entire area goes brown and dies. And they had indicators, they had sinkholes drilled to check the water constantly. And what I realized when I went there was that if you listen to the frogs in the night, the salt sensitive frogs, their voices disappear long before the salt comes up. Listen to nature, look at nature, she's always telling you things. Learn how to read what nature is saying.
There is a very interesting example that I can give you, Rehan. You spoke about fish and small streams having fish in Colombo and in suburbs. Right now we don't have these fish species anymore. And when I was schooled in Gampaha, we had small streams passing, because we used to walk to the school, and all these streams had all types of freshwater fishes. And today there are no more. The result is that we have a greater number of mosquito population, like dengue cases, more dengue cases. At my house in Colombo, at Borelas Gamu, every evening, 6:30, there is this small group of bats come and they fly around and eat the mosquitoes. I have videoed it. Mosquitoes are eaten by bats, dragonflies, and some birds, and especially the eggs, when the mosquito lay eggs on the water, the fish. And now we have broken that whole system. And on the other hand, we speak of acacia, for instance. In Rakwan, I took footages of the acacia plants, and under them you have hundreds of bees dead. We don't know the reason. Some say the tonic, what do you call when the bees drink the tonic that comes off acacia, it's probably something poisonous, they say. I don't know scientifically what it is, but what I know, what I saw is that you have hundreds of bees on the ground dead under the acacia trees. I videoed it because some people don't want to agree that acacia causes this problem. Now when you don't have bees, you know what happens?
Absolutely. there won't be life.
Yeah, there won't be life. The flowering won't happen,
One
and the
thing I
agriculture
noticed
will be
is
impacted.
during the lockdown, there were millions of butterflies suddenly in the garden.
Yes.
So they had their freedom.
Exactly.
And the flowers, I don't know if you noticed
Yes.
that
Yes.
the flowers on the trees. I've never seen so many flowers as
Exactly.
during lockdown. It was everywhere.
So why can't we sustain this?
Well,